Lonnie Franklin Jr. So what are some involvements that we can speak on that could have had some intervention earlier on, and give you just some background? So he had a family. He had two kids and a wife. His wife's name was Sylvia, and his son's name was Christopher. The daughter's name is not. She kept that private. We do not know the daughter's name. I could not find that anywhere. So if she wants to keep that private, she can. He served in the U.S. Army in the early 1970s to late 1970s. He had prior run-ins with the police, 2 charges of stolen property, battery, assault, and a few others, but he has had involvements specifically with the police beforehand. So what is some intervention that could have happened early on in these kind of involvements? Well, number one is the military. While he was serving, Franklin was involved in a gang raping of a 17-year-old girl in Stuttgart, Germany, while he was deployed. All 3 men, he was with 2 other people he was serving with, all 3 men were charged for the crime, and he was sentenced to 4 years, specifically Lonnie was. All the other 2 men all served their 4 years, but Lonnie was let out after a year. So the question is why? Why was he let out a year? Well, even detectives don't know that answer, and they're still confused about it. And they wonder the same things we're wondering, as if he had maybe served all 4 years, would this have prevented this at all? But because he was let out so early, maybe that did something, spiked something, where he went on this murder spree shortly after. Because he was discharged after, which means he came home, which is a clear sign. But the question really is why? Why was he let out only after a year? I think the military should have been harsher on their punishment for that. The other thing is family and friends. Lonnie's wife and son both expressed concerns to police after the time of the arrest that he showed signs of aggression and aggressive outbursts. Again, though, the problem is this came out after the fact, after the arrest. So if this would have been brought up beforehand, maybe police could have stepped in, or if he was aware, maybe this could have helped prevent some of these killings, at least. Again, the key word is some in this situation. We can't necessarily know, what would have happened, but we can say maybe this could have prevented some of the killings. Another thing with friends, one of Franklin's lifelong friends, Lydia Comm, actually expressed to police that he would have violent fantasies and would put women down constantly, expressing, someone's going to kill these girls, they're going to end up dead. That's obviously something that's a little off, and I think that could have been taken into account if it was brought up before the arrest and before the killings. This could have easily been something that could have helped open eyes to police, him being a prime suspect, anything like that. The last thing is the criminal justice system, which in the early years of Lonnie's murder spree in California at the time, state laws mentioned that there was no DNA requirements upon bookings for simple arrests. So any arrest other than sex offending violations. So the charges of battery, stolen property, the assault, weapons charges, those things didn't require DNA samples upon bookings at the time. So it's easy to assume, the only way they matched this crime was through DNA off of a pizza slice. But again, this was early. This was 2000. This is later 2010s. So the question is, if there would have been laws at this time, they probably could have matched the DNA quicker, and it's possible that he could have been caught quicker.